Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan. And in this 10-minute moan, I look at the ridiculous £400,000 the Scottish Government spent trying to get us to report hate crime. Now, I've taken some of the details here from GB News website. They ran an article on it, used some of the information in the snippets from it. The SNP has been criticised for spending £400,000 of public money on a campaign to promote Scotland's new hate crime laws. The public information campaign called Hate Hurts urged Scots to report hate crime to the police in the days before the new law came into force on April the 1st. Police Scotland then received 7,152 complaints in the first week of legislation. The public information campaign included TV adverts, billboards, and social media adverts. It featured the message, if you witness a hate crime, report it. Scottish Conservative Justice spokesman Sharon Dowie slammed the legislation as shambolic, saying that the £400,000 should have been put into the police force. It's not a bad idea, actually. I don't know how much a police officer gets just now, but it's maybe about 40 grand a year. If that's the case, could have gave us 10 coppers this year in a country that's short of police. The huge sum of public money lavished by the SNP on promoting Humza Yousaf's shambolic hate crime law will rightly stick in the craw of Scottish police officers. Police Scotland could desperately use the £400,000 as they plough through the mountain of extra work generated by SNP ministers, encouraging the public to report incidents, in which we are told is leading to a huge overtime bill. Didn't know that. It also makes a mockery of the SNP minister's apparent shock at the number of vexatious complaints being made to police. They ran a nationwide publicity drive at taxpayers' expense, urging the people to report hate incidents to the police, and now they've a cheek to wring their hands at the volume of them. Fair point. The SNP's flawed law, which was inexplicitly supported by Labour and Lib Dems, is unravelling just as legal experts and the Scottish Tories predicted. It must be ditched now. According to a response to a Freedom of Information request filed by the Scottish Daily Mail last month's Hate Hurts campaign cost £389,689.50. There you are, spot on. Just under 400 grand. Yousaf said the new legislation absolutely protects people and their freedom of expression, while guarding people from the rising tide of hatred that we've seen far too often in our society. Okay, so this is Humza, right, that in the run-up to the 1st of April was on TV telling everybody to report everything that you hear that upsets you. 2 or 3 days later, after he was subject of the vast majority of the 7,153 cases, he was on TV telling folk to stop and really consider what you're about to do. Then after that interview, he done another interview a few days later where he was challenged on the amount of complaints made about him and his famous 2020 White speech, in which Humza claimed that everybody, not some, not most, everybody who complained about his hate speech was from the far right. The man's crackers, isn't he? And he's partier crackers. Imagine having to spend £400,000 on TV, billboard and social media adverts. Well, you didn't need to spend a penny because all the free publicity you wanted, it was all over social media. There's not a single thing on a billboard that nobody had seen or read elsewhere. Absolutely no need. If it was something that nobody was talking about and you had to spend money on it, I can maybe see the point in it. I still might not agree with it, but I might be able to see the point in it. But the fact you've spent £400,000 on a thing that was in every single newspaper, every single TV station and every specialist news outlet, incredible. That's a PR person's dream. The whole reason they're having PR people so they can get stories in the mainstream is to save you money having to pay for it. You get millions of pounds worth of free advertising for your new hate crime. There's nobody, not one single person, I would suggest, read a billboard, looked at an advert on any social media, or indeed any of these TV adverts that you apparently paid for, I can't challenge that there was not one single person that read anything on that didn't know the Hate Crime Act was coming out. And they could have found much more information than any of your billboards on any newspaper or news outlet in the run-up to it coming out. So a complete mockery that you spent anything. It just shows you the complete stupidity of your party. And I guarantee you, if the £400,000 was to come out of your party kitty, you wouldn't have got a penny, because you have no money. You're skint. But you've got this open purse called the Scottish public purse that you just abuse at any given minute. And I'd love to know where in your budget this £400,000 comes from. Because I've never seen a line in your budget saying, piss up the wall money, right? Because that's all you've done. You've spent 400 grand for the grand total effect of hee-haw. It didn't need spent. Everybody knew. It was that a ridiculous law. Everybody was wanting to talk about it, and everybody was wanting to write stories and put pieces into any news outlet on any channel. But you guys just wanted to spend 400 grand. These are an absolute farce of a party. Common sense and logic is nowhere to be seen in either you or your government. I mean, you look at the quality of people that's in your cabinet alone, it's shocking. I'm surprised half of them finished their education. They appear so stupid. And I hope that could be construed as hatred, because I'll need to plead. If somebody asks me, do you hate the SNP, I'll need to put my right hand up to God and say, guilty as charged. Right? Guilty as charged. Hate you. And the reason for it is, for 17 years, you have ruined Scotland. Absolutely ruined every single piece of society and every single piece of legislation. But for the grace of God, we would have had your gender recognition as well. Ridiculous, idiotic things. We'd have had the Named Person Act. If other people hadn't been able to stop you with your bloody stupid return thing that was never going to work, if it wasn't for powers out with your parliament are able to stop you. My only wish is they'd stop more of your nonsense. And I think it's fair to say that this devolution experiment has failed. And I actually quite like the idea of devolution of, having a Scottish Assembly wouldn't have been a bad thing in my eyes. If it was run with normal people that could make the place better than it was when we relied on the Scottish office. It was done all right for decades. So I think you've actually ruined the attraction of devolution. No independence, that's smashed. You've put that plate into 1,000 pieces. It's no wonder even nationalists despise you now, because you've ruined their hopes of independence, and you've ruined unionist hopes of a better country. After the 2014 referendum failure, you had your opportunity to just sit, big boy pants on, and govern a country with the powers you had and make it as good as possible. You managed to make it worse. You're fools. You're idiots. You're obsessed with one thing, and that's independence. And your obsession with it has ruined the opportunity of ever achieving it. And thank God for that. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. If you've not already done so, please hit subscribe. Get involved in the comments below, but most importantly of all, unless you are Humza, the SNP party, or their cult, have a great day. Cheery bye now.